Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Animation Appreciation Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana Stargazer, and today I'll be covering Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Just wanted to give a quick warning that it is about to storm outside, so if you hear any storm noises, I'm fine. This episode's actually dedicated to my boss, Beth, who has an entire tattoo sleeve from this movie. I hope you like this episode. The Nightmare Before Christmas is created using a technique called stop motion animation. Instead of each frame being a drawing, it is a picture. The characters and scenes were all changed by fractions of an inch at a time, and then a photo is taken. So when it's played all together, it looks as if everyone is alive. In particular, this movie is claymation, a subgroup of stop motion specifically using clay models and figures. Claymation tends to have an unsettling feel to it that is well suited to this movie's vibe. Just like the hand-drawn versions, they have several photos per second. In this case, there's 14 instead of the usual 32. And also, the clothes they wear can be made of actual fabric, so no one has to design the materials in 3D to make it look like it's fabric. They're actually fabric, but still, someone had to sit down and make little costumes for them. The shadows and ghosts at the beginning are all animated by hand. The unsettling, yet in my opinion, cute character designs of this film are delightful. Everyone looks different and has a unique movement and personality, including the fact that the mayor has two faces because politicians are two-faced. Every single motion, from the fire to Jack's tie raising after he comes out of the water, was hand-changed bit by bit. If you've ever seen the extras of Coraline, you can actually see her arguing with her animator. In fact, up to this point, claymation models were actually quite chunky, like Gumby or even a few of the other background people we see here. Jack himself had extra models, 8 to be precise, so the clay wouldn't look damaged. Same for Sally and Oogie, though to a lesser extent. On the mayor's face, you can see where his mouth and eyes are changeable. Played as simply a unique part of his unsettling nature. In Jack's original design, his feet were actually even smaller. They were made larger to the size they are now because a ball and socket joint wouldn't fit in the original design. I don't know why that makes me laugh. Even though Zero is transparent, he is also a clay model. Just the photos of him are in a different layer and faded using editing. All the clay models have metal internal structures, including the hill he climbed down. How on earth they made Jack have a look of wonder in his empty eye sockets without using eyes and without using any weird. I could not notice any actual gestures in his skull around his eyes at that time. Quite impressive. The use of shadow puppets when Jack goes by shaded windows to show life inside without needing to have full model visible is how you save money. When Jack first sees Santa, his shadow does appear to have claws, hence Sandy Claus. Jack's understanding of Christmas is cultural celebration and the desire to understand, while the rest of the town's idea of Christmas is cultural appropriation. That being said, I love both interpretations, both dark gifts and the happy ones. Jack is reading A Christmas Carol, a book simply called Santa, one of the story of Rudolph, one called Noel, Xmas, and Yuletide. Jack's pajamas are an example of someone sewing him clothes. You can actually see his actual clothes slightly underneath them. The entirety of what the mayor says in his Christmas Day speech is on that parchment he is holding. I know that makes sense, but in some animated works, they simply use squiggles and lines to fake writing instead of actually having it written down, as it has no real practical purpose. In live action, the point is it helps the actors by making their lines right there in their hand. In fact, there is a moment in Pirates of the Caribbean. In Pirates of the Caribbean, actually, there is a moment when Elizabeth Swan's father is reading the decrees for their arrest, and in one of the bloopers, he says, I can't read my own writing, as in he's the one who wrote the decree so that he could actually have his lines directly in front of him. That is an example of practical use of scrolls having actual writing on them. In this case, it's just delightful. Before Zero is revealed when Christmas is fogged out, we see his light moving around off screen, lighting various people who are on screen. Even in apparent death, Jack must be extra. He landed on an angel and draped dramatically in her arms. Oogie's animators had to animate each and every bug that is moving once the outside of Oogie is removed. That is why if you watch any one of the bugs' motion, it may be a little jerky and jarring instead of smooth like Jack's animations. Also, that adds to the unsettling nature. Jack's suit has stripes so he can be seen against dark backgrounds, such as the town he lives in. When they were originally filming, they had a hard time keeping track of him because his black suit would disappear, so they gave him pinstripes. The scene involving clouds are all cotton, and this apparently caused a great deal of issues on set. The set also included several trap doors so that animators could pop in and out all over the set without having any problems. This set is actually designed in miniature and animated by full-size people. Two of the kids who find Jack's gift have Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck PJs on. The director of this film was not actually Tim Burton, but he wrote the poem that it is based on. He actually wrote the poem while watching a store transition from Christmas to Halloween in the juxtaposition there. Disney thought that with his name on it, it would get more attention than the actual director's name. Speaking of that poem, Sally and Oogie were not originally in it, just Jack, Santa, Zero, and the named children, who were also Oogie Boogie's henchmen. It took 3 years due to the nature of stop motion animation to make this. It actually took the full 3 years because they had to take 109,440 photos to make this movie. That means they would take 109,440 poses, frames, to make this movie. That's a lot considering it doesn't take like 2 seconds to change it. It takes minutes. In case anyone is not aware, Zero's nose is in fact a jack-o'-lantern. Jack had over 200 heads, so he could have a wide range of expressions. Sally had different faces because you can't remove her whole head when you have hair as long as hers. They totaled 10 faces and 11 different expressions. The head in the band's bass is actually Danny Elfman. Originally, the vampires at the end were going to play hockey with a head instead of a pumpkin that resembles Tim Burton, but they decided the head was a little off-putting and went with the pumpkin. There are 230 sets and 19 sound stages used to create this film. The voice of Locke is Pee Wee Herman. There was actually a Nightmare Before Christmas trading card game. It was short-lived, but it does exist, and I'm sure you can find it somewhere. There are 7 doors in the Holiday Valley: Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, 4th of July, which is an American holiday, St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, and Easter. Yes, Jack is in James and the Giant Peach, and with Jack going to the living world to scare people on Halloween, I fully accept that he would wait there holding a compass just to scare James. Also, a quick reminder that one of the feel-good films in this movie is about how to dispose of a body. That always makes me laugh. That's all I have for today, so thank you, and thank you for listening. And as always, remember, if it's animated, someone did it on purpose. Even if it is claymation, someone absolutely sat down and made the decision to leave it that way. Thank you, and have a great day.